Hi, I'm Willie. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And what I have for you in this video is a little bit of a treat. I have the Ubiquiti Cloud Key Gen 2 Plus. Ubiquiti did send this to me, but they are not paying for this. This is my own opinion. I've not taken it out of the box. You can see the box is completely sealed. So we're going to unbox this and we're going to take a look at this unit. This has a test date of 9/26/18. As everything else with Ubiquiti Networks, is going to come with a one-year warranty. So I will tell you that this box, when it showed up, so when you're looking at this thing online, this box is much smaller than what I would have expected for an NVR. So this has got a spinning disk in it, like a 2 terabyte hard drive. And to give you an idea of how big the box is, here's just a standard NetTool. So it's about a NetTool and 3/4 high, and it would be the same wide. But this box is a lot smaller. It's very interesting. So I will once we get this open, I will grab the other Cloud Key, the Cloud Key Gen 2, and we'll grab the original Cloud Key and we'll do some size comparisons. But what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this guy open and we're going to take a look at what is inside. All right, so here we have the box. It is very, I think, kind of Apple-esque, and I think I've been seeing that comment quite a bit. So the packaging is very neat, very well put together. Very much like an Apple product when you get that. If you've never gotten an Apple product, the packaging is very tight. This is very tight. It's got like a 2-piece box here. Let's see if we can get this guy open. Okay, nothing on the inside of the box. Then here you can see we've got this insert that's got the Ubiquiti logo there. Inside of this folder, there's something here. Okay, nothing else in there now. So here we have kind of a tear sheet that shows us the unit and then tells us where to go out and get the app and where to download everything. So all the information here. And then I've heard about these, but here they are. They're these giant UniFi Protect stickers. These are actually, I don't know if they're static cling. They feel like they're, I don't know, they're sticky. So they're not static cling, I don't think. They kind of feel like static cling, but all right. So then here's the unit itself. All right, so let's just try to pull on this tab. All right, pull on the tab. So you can see this is wrapped in, and there's nothing else. There's nothing else in the box. So we'll just take this and flip it over. Actually, just put this on the table here. So it's got this plastic cover on it. Pretty slick, pretty nice. I wouldn't have been able to get it out of the packaging really easy if we wouldn't have had this with the tab on it. So it's a little bit bigger than a flask. I know I've been referring to a flask recently, but you got the logo here. This is all aluminum. We've got some sort of a status light here. Then on the front, we've got the same LED control that we have, or the LED screen that we've got on the other unit. Let's see. Then on the back we've got USB-C power. No, what is that? That looks like it is USB to go to external storage. And then over here we've got our USB-C power. We've got a power button, and then this can actually be powered with 802.3 AF. And this thing for having a 2 terabyte hard drive in it. This thing is tiny. It is rated for 20 cameras, is what Ubiquiti is rating this for. Now, I will tell you that you know, it runs Linux, but this is an ARM processor, so this is not the same x86 or x64, whatever the other processors. I think the other processor that's in the other NVR that they have, I think it's an Intel Atom, and this is not. This is an ARM processor. I believe it's a 4-core ARM processor. Here on the bottom, you've got all of your normal FCC markings, all your product information. Then here you have the rack link, so you've got the connector for the rack, and that was just released in early access. We're not going to look at that because it's beta, so we'll leave that out of this. And then here is a release for the hard drive. So let me grab a couple other units real quick, and we'll take a look at the overall size of this box. Okay, so what I have here is just the CloudKey Gen 2. You saw me do a quick video on this, and here it is next to the Plus. So you can see, so it feels like this guy is actually a bit thicker right here. Feels a bit thicker. I don't think that, it might be level, might just be my imagination. But then everything, it is shorter. It's definitely not as long. But if you look, the displays are pretty much the same, except one says Gen 2 Plus. And of course your hard drive is going to be over here. And then if we flip it around here, you're going to see. So I'm assuming that this guy's got the integrated battery too, but I can't assume that. We're going to have to test that out. But so what we're going to do now, you've already seen us fire this up. I've also had the question of what does it take to go from a Gen 1 CloudKey to one of the Gen 2 CloudKeys, and we are going to do that migration as well. I'm not going to do that in this video. In this video, we're going to fire this guy up, and we're going to take a look. We're going to see if he's got the battery backup like his little brother. But let's head on over to the computer and see what we can come up with. Okay, so I have this on an isolated network. Once again, another inside NAT, right? So I've got a USG 3. You can see here that it is in its default state. And then you probably can't see this, my Ethernet cable. So I'm actually plugged into an HP switch that has PoE, which I've got a video coming on that. But the USG is plugged in there, and you can actually tell that this guy has a spinning disk when you're moving it. If you've ever held a hard drive or anything that's got the spinning disk on the inside, you know how it kind of feels when you move it around, and you can kind of feel it a little bit. And the screen here says 192.168.1.55. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put this down, and it is powered with PoE right now. We got our status light here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this down, and we are going to log into the interface and take a look around. And by the way, that thing is almost as big as, actually it's like the same size as the USG 3. Alright, so we're pulling up 192.168.1.55. Of course, that's a self-signed certificate. So we'll go ahead and confirm that. So now this is a very similar interface to what we saw on just the Gen 2. But here we've got the UniFi SDN, we've got UniFi Protect, so we're going to take an in-depth look at Protect, and then we've got the CloudKey Gen 2 Plus settings. So let's go ahead and manage the CloudKey. This should be UBNT and UBNT, and we'll go ahead and log in. It wants us to change the password. So we'll change it to a super duper secret password. And you can see down here, even when we're logged into the management, it sees the apps that are installed on it. So that's pretty cool. Over here under system stats, so this must be a 1 terabyte drive because we've got 864 gigabytes available. And I didn't remember to see an SD card. I didn't remember seeing an SD card in there. But anyway, oh, this has an 8-core processor, 3 gigs of RAM. So it's at 37 degrees. I'm assuming that that's Celsius. It's got a 3% load here and a 24% memory usage. We'll go back over here. Let's go into the configure. It says that the SDN is up to date here. 5.8.28, but there's also a 5.9.29. You can see here we can enable or disable the reset button. That's kind of nice. We can stop Unify Protect. We can stop the SDN. We do need to change our time zone. And we're going to choose America Chicago. We'll save that. For now, I'm just going to leave this at DHCP because we're just looking at the main unit here itself. And then in the next video on this, that's when we're going to look at Protect. We're going to adopt some cameras in there and go over all the options on that. So it does say that it's up to date. I could probably manually update it if I needed to, but that's it for now. So it's a pretty simplified, pretty nice looking management interface. You can see it's been up 11 minutes. Now it says the internet is disconnected, but it shouldn't be. And where it got these DNS servers from, that's interesting, because it should have actually had a different DNS. So let's actually go ahead. Let's put a static on here, and we'll leave it at 1.55 for now, and we'll change this DNS. And we'll save it. And let's see if the internet, so it still says the internet is disconnected. Not 100% sure what's going on there. Let's oh, okay, so something changed. It kicked us out after we did that. And I don't know if it's because we changed the IP address. Could be. Real quick though, I want to see if we can get this internet connected. So I'm going to, aha, so internet is working, because now you see the SDN just lit up down here and said that there's an update available. But what I want to do is I'm going to reboot this guy real quick. Yeah, see, now we're showing an update available. So part of this thing is getting out to the internet. What I don't know is if there's a base operating system update. Nope, it is. So it just took a minute after we changed that. So now we are connected. No need to reboot. That's fantastic. So this USG and this Unify network that I'm on is like literally out of the box. So I don't know what firmware I'm on the USG, but we obviously were having a little bit of an issue with DNS. But let's go ahead and we will update this. And I'm going to let this update and install, and I will be right back. Alright, and you can see that the firmware has been downloaded, it is installing, and it tells us the device is rebooting, and we need to be patient until the login page appears. Okay, look at this. This is sexy. So this is the latest OS. You can see that they've changed the background. And you can see that they did a complete overhaul on this. All right, so let's take a look at this. So right here, it's got the name, firmware version, IP address, processor, memory, storage 1 gig SATA. Then it's got that 32 gig of flash storage. Internet's connected. The USDN is active. Unify Protect is active. Performance, they have added a few more things. So we've got a 3% CPU load, and it says good. 41 degrees CPU temp is good. 25% memory usage, so we're using 0.74 gigabytes out of 3 gigabytes. We're using 0.39 gigabytes out of however many 864 gigabytes available. All right, come over to the controllers page. And so now, wow, they added quite a bit. So, and you can see that I don't have either one of these set up yet, but there is a setup button, and we're going to go through this protect in the next video. I wonder what this plus does. Okay, so restore Unify SDN from backup. So you were asking about moving from a Gen 1 to this. If it's in your network, it should be as easy as backing up the config file from the Gen 1 and putting it on the Gen 2. We're going to go ahead and do that in another video, but it really should be that easy. And then if you've got port forwarding happening, you'll have to either change the IP address of this new key to be the same as the old key once you've unhooked the old key, or you will have to change your port forwarding. So, and you can see how much memory each of these is using, the status, the CPU, so that's really nice. We've got our network settings here, so it shows us how much data we've transferred, the uptime. Here is all of our advanced settings. That's really nice. And then under settings here we can change the name. If we had the SD card in here, it says so there is that SD card slot. I must have missed that, but it must be there. Here's our hardware management, so we can disable that reset button. We can do factory reset, power off, reboot. I'm digging that. And then this is where we can come to check that firmware. We can do a manual update. This is nice. Bravo, Ubiquiti. I do like this. So the last thing that we gotta kind of talk about is, does this thing have the battery? Does this thing have the battery like the little guy? And you saw that it took about between 7 and 10 seconds, and this thing would power off and you wouldn't screw everything up. So I don't know if this has got the battery in it, but we're going to try it. So we're going to try this, and then we're going to wrap here, but then the next video will be Unify, Protect, and we'll actually go ahead. We'll do a twofer in the next video. We will go ahead and migrate from the Cloud Key 1 to the Cloud Key 2, and we'll set up and go over Protect. So it's going to be a little bit of a longer video because we will cover Protect tip to stern. So the last thing that we're going to do here is I don't know if you can see the display here. So it says we've got internet. It's got all the same good scrollies, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug this, and one of two things are going to happen. We're going to get a graceful shutdown. Well, three things could happen, right? So this hasn't been plugged in that long. So if it's got a battery, there's a good chance it's not at a full charge. So we could get like a partial shutdown, but we don't have anything running. So worst case scenario, we're not parking the head properly on that spinning disk, but we're not storing any data there, and our chances of corruption, they're not super high. So once we get this in production, we will be much more picky, and this is going to go into production and be my NVR. So we're going to pull it. So we're going to have one of three things. Either we're going to have a premature shutdown, is it going to shut down properly, or it doesn't have a battery and it's just going to power off. So are you ready? 1, 2, 3. And guess what? Ethernet disconnected, power disconnected. I can feel the hard drive spinning still, but look at this. It is doing a graceful shutdown. That is amazing, and it's got a blue blinky light right there. So it is shutting it down properly. So and you could hear it power off just like a regular hard drive. So this must have had some juice in the battery, because it did exactly what it was supposed to do. This is man, if they could figure out how to do this with like the Unify application server, that would be huge. So I think that's all I wanted to show you. Oh, you know what? There's that the SD card slot it's above the Ethernet, right in there. You can't. This thing, the autofocus is weird on this, but trust me, there's an SD card slot right where that little SD card logo is. So yeah, there is that SD card slot. I don't know how I missed that earlier, but this is fantastic. I've also seen some people buying these and upgrading the internal drive already to 5 terabytes and then turning around and reselling them. But that's not what we're going to do. We're going to put this thing through its paces. We're going to run Protect. We're going to run the SDN. We're going to see what else Ubiquiti has to offer for us in the future, if any of the other apps are going to run on this guy. So I am actually really excited about the new Cloud Keys. Alright, so that's it for this video. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please comment and share. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you want to talk to us on Discord. The link is down below. If you need IT consulting, best practice in networking, whether it's wired or wireless, voice over IP, network security, server setup, Windows, Linux, you name it. We've even got Taylor doing some server builds and PC builds. If you need consulting, reach out to us. Go to our website down below, fill out the contact form. If we can't help you, we'll get you to somebody who can. That's our promise to you. If you want to be a patron, follow us on Patreon. That link is down below. And if you want to buy any of the gear you see here on the channel, the Amazon link is below. Once again, I want to thank you, and I truly appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, we'll see you in the next video.